Hey, welcome back to the Big Ranch Show. As always, thank you for joining me. If you could, hit the subscribe button down below, and let's get right to it. Now, earlier today, I put out a video talking about the kids down in Parkland, Florida, putting together this thing called March for Our Lives. They're looking for a march on Washington, March 24th. If you can, get out there and support them. If you can't get to D.C., get together a rally or something in your neck of the woods. That way, you can sit there and show your support for these kids that are really trying to do an awesome thing. They're really trying to make change that a lot of people are, trying to give a huge pushback to. But please, if you support their cause, please get out there and show your support on March 24th. But in that vein, I wanted to show you or talk about a bill that was put forth last year by John Cornyn and Chris Murphy, both senators, one from Texas here in Texas and one from, I believe, Connecticut. It's a bill to ensure that all state and federal agencies are reporting to one another all the accurate information for given individuals. That way, when a person comes in and says, I want to buy a gun, when the owner of the shop or the whatever runs the background check, they have all the accurate and most up-to-date information they possibly can. Basically, it's a law that is ensuring that everybody is following the law. It seems a little bit redundant, but obviously it needs to be done because we saw what happened in Sutherland Springs, where the guy had a record of spousal abuse, child abuse, and they went ahead and gave him a gun anyway, among other things that had happened when he was in the military. But the Air Force never got around to reporting it. And so we got to make sure that kind of stuff doesn't happen anymore. We at least can do that much. It's the least we can do. The very least. This is some low-hanging fruit, folks. This is something that is just common sense. We're not talking about confiscating guns. We're not talking about stealing people's guns or taking away anyone's rights. We're talking about making sure that everybody has accurate information to go on when they sell somebody a gun. I don't think that's too much to ask. I don't see that as overstepping our bounds. I don't see that as violating the Constitution or taking your rights away. I see it as doing the very least we can do to try to keep guns out of the hands of the bad folks while not hurting the rights of those that are good people. Now, we need to go further than that. There's a lot more we need to do. We need to reinstate the Obama-era regulations that said that somebody that is criminally insane or has a mental illness that would cause them to kill people can't get a gun. We need to make sure that terrorists on the no-fly list can't get a gun. It doesn't make sense. These are things we need to do. We need to be sure that we put funding back into mental health. Since President Trump says this is a mental health issue, Mr. Trump, I beg of you, put money back in the budget because your budget for 2019 strips away lots of money for mental illness coverages and the coverage within the ACA you're trying to get rid of for mental illness. If nothing else, we have to do something. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what all we can do. But I know Congress hasn't done anything for years on the topic. And it's about time something changes. And this law right here is at least a good start. A bipartisan effort put together by a Democrat and a Republican, and the president supports it. So by God, everybody else in that Congress and the House need to get behind this bill and support it. Call your congressmen, call your senators. Tell them you support this legislation. Tell them you support more thorough background checks. Even if this is just a start of some good work between the parties on this, we've got to come together. It's not blue state versus red state. It's not Democrat versus Republican. This is about Americans, American lives, American children, and we have to do something. We can't have people just rolling up into our churches and killing 26 parishioners. We can't have somebody just rolling up in a school and gunning down 17 people because someone broke up with them at some point. These are things we can't have happening anymore. It has to end, and it has to end now. As the kids from Parkland are saying, never again. And that's really all I can say. This is something we really need to do. Just to make sure all agencies are doing their best. And I think it'll go a long ways. So please, like I said, call your congressmen, call your senators, tell them you support this bill, and let's get it going. I'll put a link in the description, I believe, if I can, to the bill. But if anything else, if I don't, even if I can't give you a number for it, call your congressman, call your senator, tell them you support more thorough background checks, that you want all agencies reporting the proper information in a timely manner to the database and everything for background checks. Anyhow, y'all have a great day. I'll see you down the road. And keep the people down in Parkland in your thoughts. Not that thoughts and prayers do all that much to really change with the situation on the ground. But we as Americans have to be concerned about our fellow Americans. And that's all there is to it. Have a great day.